A very good day to you people. My name is Mohit and today I'm going to talk about JQuery Traversing. Now let's look at the definition. What exactly is JQuery Traversing? JQuery Traversing, which means move through, are used to find or select or filter down to HTML elements based on their relation to the other elements. Start with one selection and move through that selection until you reach the elements you desire or the desired elements. Okay, many times the definitions don't tell you so much, but with practical examples we'll see what it actually means. So let's remove the definition and let's jump right in and look at an example. Right, now you have an HTML document open in front of you and I want you to actually focus very clearly on the elements inside, because this is gonna be really useful. Okay, so inside the opening and the closing body tags, exactly what is, the stuff that is visible on the web page, we have a button opening closing tag in line number 17 which says hit me up, so that is irrelevant. Okay, what follows is a division. Now this divisions contains h1, h2, h3 two times, so they are repeated from 19 to 21 lines, that is, and then again from lines 22 to 24. So this is a duplicate set, h1, h2, h3, and the written material inside says heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, etc. Okay, I hope so far everything is clear. It's very simple. Right, also notice that I've actually used the opening closing style tags to style my very little HTML. And again, see, why am I not writing it all over again? It's so very simple, it's very minimal code. Okay, so a group or a multiple selector h1, h2, h3 and says that the display should be inline block. By their very nature, by default, they are block level elements. I'm turning them to inline block. They'll be in the same line, but they will also honor the width. That is what is meant by inline block. Margin right, only on the right hand side, 10 px of margin. Okay, and padding all around by 10 px. So very simple CSS for the very few elements that we have on the page. This is, this HTML document is actually tied with the JS, the JavaScript jQuery document, using the script tags out here in line number 11, which is immediately followed by, which is preceded by the main jQuery library, the latest jQuery minified compressed library that you can always grab from jQuery.com. Okay, so very minimal code out here and very minimal code out here too. Okay, so we are looking to see if the document is actually ready when the DOM has initialized and all the elements are actually accessible. It's not the same as saying that all the elements have loaded, but they're just accessible. Right, so when the DOM has initialized and all the the elements are accessible, so that is you check it through the document.ready function. Okay, and then when the document is ready, if someone presses the button, the only button that we have in the document, which is here in line number 16, I would want to look for all instances of h1 and through the CSS method apply a border 5px solid green, and this comma means and also throw in a background of lime color, kind of greenish, light greenish. Okay, so very simple CSS as well. So, let's bring up the browser to see what it actually throws our way. So if I click on the hit me up button, okay, it looks for all instances of h1 in the document and colors them lime with a border that was actually specified. So I hope everything is all cool so far. Now we are gonna start using the traversing methods. Okay, step 1. Let's look for all siblings. Now siblings share the same parent of what? Of the h1 elements, of the different h1 elements. Let's see which elements it actually traverses through and finds. Let's bring up the browser, let's refresh, hit me up. All of them. I'll tell you why. Ideally, it should not select H1 because H1 can't be a sibling of itself, but H2 and H3 are. So H1, but H1 definitely is the sibling of the second H1, and the second H1 is definitely a sibling of the first H1. That is why the first one gets highlighted too. So siblings share the same parent, right? So this H1 is a sibling of this H1, and this H1 is a sibling of this H1, and that's why all the elements are, so just like brother-sister relationship, right? They're all siblings. Cool. Righto. Now, next up, people, let's see if I just change this to parent of H1. What do you think is the parent of H1? Let's bring the browser up, let's refresh, and let's hit me up. Obviously the division is, if I bring up the document, and you see out here the div tags in line lines 17 through 24 is where one tag opens, the other one actually closes. It engulfs, encapsulates, surrounds, or embraces all the other elements. That is the parent for H1, H2, H3, H1, H2, H3, isn't it? So very simple. If I go back now, let's bring the document up, traversing, and just change this to parents. Includes grandparents too. All ones that are actually level up. Grandparents, etc. Great grandparents, etc. Okay, let's see how this actually affects the whole situation. All the parents are selected going up to the body, right? But if I say parents until, and I pass in a parameter or an argument out here and say body. Okay, now what this actually means is, let's say save, and let's refresh, hit me up. Okay, must have been some, oh right, the body has to be inside opening, closing, single or double quotes. Alright, we will go level up, but only up to the body, not including the body. And yeah, you see, we go up to the body but do not include the body itself. So all the parents going up to the body level, but not including the body itself, the parents until, right? Okay, let's get back to the siblings method. Control Z several times. Let's get back to the siblings method. Okay, I'm looking for all siblings, but this time let's say siblings which are actually only H3s, so then I can actually pass in the argument like so, and save all, bring the browser up, let's refresh, hit me up. So I think this is self-explanatory. Not choosing all the 6 elements, just 2. Oh, sorry. Right. This time let me remove everything from inside the brackets out here. Let's for a minute again show you how this affects the whole situation. Yep, all of them actually get selected. Now I'm going to show you the slice method. Okay, and just pass in a number, let's say the number 2 out here. So let's save it. If you remember, just through the siblings method, all the 6 elements inside the division were actually getting selected, but I said out of those 6 elements, slice 2. Now this is indexing based system, and indexing starts from 0. Okay, let's see if I say slice 2, what how does this actually affect the browser preview. Hit me up. Okay, so what's happened is it sliced the first 2 elements of the total 6 out, chuck them out. Okay, I can pass in one more argument which is again optional, and let's say this number out here, or let's say this number out here first. Now this will make it very easy for you to understand. If I now bring up the browser and say hit me up, so leaves the first two but includes the third one. Okay, change this number to 4. Let's see what happens. Refresh, hit me up. So leaves the first two, selects the third and the fourth. Right, let's change this number to 5 and let's see what happens. Alrighty. So I think again this is something that you already may have guessed. So you know how slicing actually works now. Cool. Alrighto. Now let's look at the find method. Okay, how this actually does a traversing. Find what? Let's say find h1s. Looking for all h1s, in but I'll need to change this to a division. Let's say a division. Okay, so looking for all instances of h1 inside the division, and then changing the border and the background color to lime. So let's say file, save, or let's see how this affects the preview. Oh, there must be some mistake somewhere. Yeah, I tend to forget this. Excuse me. Give me a minute, and there we go. Right. So looks only for the h1s inside the division. Okay. What if I were to say siblings to the div? Apply the siblings method to the div. Let's for a minute check that too. Not the h1 this time. All right. So let's get back to the browser. Let's refresh. Hit me up. So the only sibling to the division is the button itself. Okay, cool. Let's say Control Z. Find. So we know how the find method travels and targets the elements. Alrighty. How about the first method? Alrighty, but on an h1. What this actually means is we're looking for h1s, but only the first h1 of all the different h1s that we have. So the result should be this, because we have two h1 two heading ones, but we're looking only for the first one. Is there a second method? No, we just have a last method. We don't have a second, third. Let's check out the last method. Bring up the browser, refresh, hit me up. There you go. Only the second one. But if we were to, for example, select the second one, then we have a EQ method, and this looks for the index number, EQ. And let's say 0 is 1, the first element, and 1 is actually 2. So if you're looking for the second one, you need to say EQ2, EQ1. I'm sorry. This looks for the second index number 2 of the different h1. So basically the second h1, right? So the result shouldn't change. Okay, changing this to a 0 means we're looking for the first one. Indexing always starts from number 0 and not from number 1. Just need to keep that in mind. Righto, just if I were to change this to, let's say, h3, I'm sure you understand the first h3 is what we are actually targeting. Righto. So let's bring the browser up, hit me up. You got it? Yep. Okay, so let's look at some other method. Let's say again, let's revert to how about find again? Find what? Find h, rather let's use the add method here. Add. Okay. So we are looking to target h3s, but also looking to target h2s. So add h1 to h3 and then apply the CSS method. How about that? Hit me up. So all h2s, beg your pardon. Oh, we are adding h3 and h2s. So adding h2s to h3s. Sorry. So only h3s and h2s are actually affected. Okay, cool. If I now go back to, let's say, h1, And again, let's revert to the siblings method. Siblings. I wish I had a wireless, a headphone mic. This keeps on interfering with my typing. Just, hangs over the keyboard. Okay, so I was about to show you the not method, and this is the way it actually works. So looking for all siblings, but which are not whatever. So not what? Not H2s. So exclude all the H2s, but include everything else. So looking for all siblings that are not H2s. Siblings of what? H1s. And all the elements are actually siblings of H1. We have seen that, all 6 of them, right? But this time we are doing away with the H2s only. So let's hit me up and see H2s excluded, and everything else is actually a part of the traversing method. Righto, let's make a changes. Let's show you something else. Let's say this one has a class of exclude. Okay, and let's show you the filter method. Alrighty, let's get rid of this, and let's say filter down to dot exclude. Let's see what happens. H1, looking for all H1s and filtering to exclude. What do you think will happen? See. Okay. In fact, I should have used a different class out here. Include. It's not exclude. So basically it filters through the different H1s and only selects ones that include the class include. Righto. Just let me change that. Let's bring the browser up. Let's do a refresh. Righto. Let's see some other methods. So if I were to say h1 dot next, righto, and bring the browser up. Let's do a refresh. Hit me up. So all the elements which sit right next to but after h1. Cool. If I say next all, so it'll look for all siblings after h1. All of them, not just only the next one. You see, h2, h3 are after h1, h1, h2, h3 are after h1 too. Right. Similarly, we have a prev method. Let's see what this gets us. Righto. So heading 3 is just prior to, among the different siblings, just prior to the heading 1, and nothing before this one. As far as siblings are concerned, it's looking for siblings only. And let's see what prev all throws up. All of the previous elements prior to h1. So let's hit me up, and you see h3 is h2, all of them, all siblings, right? So let's sum it up. JQuery traversing, as you may have seen, is so powerful. We've seen the next all, prev all, EQ methods. We have seen the slice method, the siblings method, the parent central method. Did we actually see the children method? Let's show you if I haven't seen. If I have, excuse me, but if I haven't, here it is. All the children inside. All the children inside the division, the only division that we have. Okay, so looking for all children of the division. Hit me up, and there you go, all 6 of them. Cool. We don't have a children's method, just a children method. Right. So people, don't you get the feeling that traversing makes it so very easy to target specific elements so very easily? And in that regard, it's much more powerful than CSS, and it actually comes to grabbing a handful of elements. We have the contains and the has methods too, but I've actually used the most commonly used jQuery traversing methods out here. So people, I hope you found this information useful. You have a good day. Bye bye. Peace.